Statistics have shown that the top 5 of largest and most valuable companies in Malaysia are among the Malayan Banking Berhad, Public Bank Berhad, Petronas Chemical Group Berhad, CIMB Group Holdings Berhad, and Tenaga Nasional Berhad. These companies have started from zero to what it is now. There are countless advantages that one can gain from incorporating a company, such as the business can still grow even if one of the members died, easy to raise capital, tax benefits, and many more. Yet, the number of people incorporating a company is still low in Malaysia. Therefore, this video will help the people to grasp on how good it is for a business to be incorporated into a company rather than other type of business by providing information of types of company, process on how to incorporate it, and the characteristics of the company that we have in Malaysia.
Shares is a company formed on the principle that the liability is limited to the amount contributed or the member's unpaid shares. On the other hand, if the member has paid in full for his shares, he cannot be asked to pay more, and in the event of the company being wound up and the assets of the company are insufficient to meet its liabilities towards its creditors, he will not be called upon to contribute. Thus, for the members that have not fully paid up on his shares, he may be called up upon at any time by the company to pay at the unpaid portion even when the company is wound up and the assets of the company are insufficient to meet its liability towards its creditors. The member who has not fully paid up on his share will be called up upon to contribute. However, the member of a limited company knows his maximum liability, hence he will only lose the amount that he has agreed to invest to the company. Thus, his other personal assets will not be impacted when the company becomes solvent. A company limited by shares could be a private company known as single Berhad or public company which is known as Berhad. Next, companies that are limited by the guarantee, which the liability of the members is limited to such amount as the members are undertake to contribute in the event the company is wound up. So this type of company is prohibited from having a share capital under the Companies Act and usually used by non-profit companies such as charities, clubs, or societies, and shall be a public company as stated under Section 11, Subsection 2 of the Companies Act 2016. So non-profit company means that the business was not for the profit view. Hence, when the profits is, the profits will not be distributed to the members of the company. However, it will be reinvested into the company. For example, Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan. This foundation is to help needy people in Kuala Lumpur. Hence, according to the information above, the profit that the foundation gain will be reinvested to help needy people in Kuala Lumpur by holding any program that may help them, such as voluntary programs for homeless persons. Lastly, an unlimited company is a company that places unlimited liability to the members' shareholders, meaning that the members and shareholders will have to use their money or property to pay the company's debt if it fails financially. On the other hand, so as long as the company is solvent, the shareholder of an unlimited company need have no dealing with its creditors. Unlimited company has more flexible ownership of shares, where shareholders are free to sell their share rights to the company.
Incorporation involve company's name. Section for incorporating company's name are Section 26, Subsection 1 and Section 27 of Companies Act 2016. A name search must be made to ensure that the proposed name is available. Therefore, there are two ways to apply for a name of a company. Firstly, application for the name and incorporation of a company known as direct incorporation, or secondly, the name reservation. To explain further, direct incorporation is a combination of name reservation and incorporation process. The applicant must complete the information during the application for the name and incorporation of a company via online and incorporation fees of 1,000 ringgit. And if the proposed name is approved by SSM, the application to incorporate the company would be directly sent to the officer to be processed. For name reservation, as per the Section 27 of Companies Act 2016, the applicant must complete the information for the name of the company online and the fee is 50 ringgit for each name applied. Incorporation of company is a separate process, and if the name is approved by SSM, the name is reserved for 30 days or any longer date that as allowed by the registrar, maximum for 180 days from the date of approval. The applicant can then apply for incorporation with the fee of 1,000 ringgit.
After your company's name is approved and reserved by the registrar, we will move forward with your company's registration. Firstly, you must lodge an application for incorporation to the registrar. You must bring a statement consisting of the company's name, the status whether it is going to be a public or private company, proposed address of your registered office, the members' amount of capital contribution, the details such as name, nationality, and the address of residence of the company's members, directors, and secretary, and also any information required by the registrar. In addition, you must also bring the statement consisting of the consent from each of the directors to act as appointed. Secondly, once the registrar is satisfied with your application, you may pay for the prescribed fee, and then the registrar will assign a registration number of your company and then issue a notice of registration. Upon receiving the certificate of incorporating, then your company are good to go.
There are several characteristics of a company which are provided under the Companies Act 2016. It includes the separate legal entity, perpetual succession, and the unlimited capacity to enter into transactions, to incur obligations, capacity to sue and be sued in its own name, and the ability to acquire and own property in its own name. Being a separate legal entity, it bears its own name and acts under the corporate name. It has a seal of its own. Its assets are separate and distinct from those of its members. It is also a different person from the members who compose it. The shareholders are not the agents of the company, and so they cannot bind it by their acts. An incorporated company never dies except when it is worn out as per below. A company being a separate legal person is unaffected by the death or departure of any member and remains the same entity, despite total change in the membership. Next, a company being a body corporate can sue and be sued in its own name. To sue means to institute legal proceedings against a person or to bring a suit in a court of law. All legal proceedings against the company are to be instituted in its own name. A company may own property and exercise ownership rights over the property as provided in the Section 21 Sub 1 Clause B of the Act. This includes the right to develop or dispose of any property. If there is any registration requirement to hold property, the property will be registered in the company's name and not in its members. The property belongs to the company, does not belong to the members. The company is able to enter into contract with anyone, including its members. The company has unlimited capacity. To differentiate an unlimited company from the others, the name of the unlimited company shall end with the word Sendirian or the abbreviation SDN. Lastly, a company may be incorporated as a company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, or an unlimited company. When a company is a company limited by shares, the members' liability is limited to the amount unpaid on their shares. And where the company is a company limited by guarantee, a member's liability is limited to the amount they agreed to contribute in the event the company is worn out. There is no limit placed on the liability of a member of an unlimited company.
Second characteristic of a company is lifting the corporate veil. As stipulated under the Salaman case, separate legal entity will not always be invoked by courts, as courts will lift the corporate veil to determine the true character of the relevant corporation or to see the person concealed behind the corporate veil. The meaning behind the phrase lifting the corporate veil is corporations' directors are not totally immune from personal culpability as of their corporate status. However, rather are likely to face legal action. And this means, if a director of a company is found liable for committing fraud, they cannot claim the principle of separate legal entity, as the court will apply the principle of lifting the corporate veil, and still the director will be held liable with the involved in the name of the company. There are a number of provisions in Companies Act that stipulate the principle of lifting the corporate veil to be applied by courts. The lifting of the curtain may occasionally result in the raiding officials being held criminally accountable for the deeds of their organization. In other circumstances, the Act holds the official accountable to creditors on a personal level for the debts that the corporation has incurred. The requirement to create consolidated financial statements for the parent company and its subsidiaries is mentioned in Section 169 Companies Act. The directors of the parent firm are in charge of the preparation. When considered from this perspective, the law acknowledges a group of connected business capacity to operate as a single entity. And besides, any member who continues to serve the company after the first 6 months is responsible for any liabilities incurred after that point, in accordance with Section 36 of the Companies Act. Any corporate official who signs, issues, or permits to be signed any bill of exchange, check, or promissory note in which the company's name is not accurately or legibly written is subject to the restrictions of Section 121, Subsection 2, Companies Act. In the case of Hotel Jayapura Sdn Bhd against National Union Bar and Restaurant Workers, the precedent established in this case demonstrated that courts are inclined to lift the corporate veil when the separate entity principle has been abused. It is common for companies to break their contractual commitments, establishing organizational structures that allow large shareholders to terminate smaller owners. And as a result, when the fraudulent plan is implicated, the court will interfere to solve the matter.